Boys and girls, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Josh or Zero here, bringing you all a brand new episode of the Gearscast. Welcome, everyone, to the Gearscast, the best Gears of War podcast here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, man, super excited for this. It's been a little while, dude, since we went live. I'm trying to think here. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, actually, was the last time that we went live here, and I am really excited about this. I'm coming to you guys live from none other than Zero Dark. You're going to hear some noise in the background. I've got some live streamers here that are streaming, and so if you guys hear something in the background, that's what that is all about. Guys, for those of you who are not accustomed to the Gearscast is a show related solely around Gears of War, and we give you guys some insight into what it all means in terms of Gears of War news, the things that are happening in the world of Gears of War, and I couldn't be more excited than I am right now to be sharing, these moments with all of you in relation to the things that we love so much about Gears of War. As we're going here, make sure we're locked in and ready to go here, guys. Dude, I'm so excited about this because we finally officially got some news in relation to Gears of War. And when I say news, I mean, it's further confirmation of the release of Gears of War Eday this year. So with that being said, let's get started, everyone. And I want to start with this. I have an announcement for the Gearscast. And this has been something I've been kind of mulling over in my mind for a while. And it's been something I've been really wanting to do. And I'm excited because we are going to be launching this here very, very soon. Transformers, what's up? Welcome to the Gearscast. I'm really excited about this because, guys, the Gearscast won't be every episode, but something I've been focused on very much so as we've been kind of going here along this journey together on YouTube and everything else. One of the things I'm really excited about is we're going to be inviting Gears of War content creators and streamers onto the Gearscast. It's an announcement I've been wanting to make, for a while, and was just waiting for a really good moment to announce this to all of you, that we are going to be bringing on Gears of War content creators and streamers onto the show on a consistent basis, because it's really important, I feel, that you don't just hear from me, you hear from other creators, because all of us have different thought processes, different ideas of what we think would be really good for Gears of War, really bad for Gears of War. And I think it's really important that we get these conversations going where it's not just one man, but it's an entire community of people that have a relentless effort to create change and good changes that we want to see out of our beloved Gears of War. And specifically, as we continue moving into 2026, Gears of War Eday. Because we're getting closer and closer to the release of what I believe, and I've been pounding the table talking about this, I believe Gears of War Eday is the most important Gears of War title potentially ever. I think you could argue maybe Gears of War Ultimate Edition when, we had Gears of War Judgment and we went through the dark ages of Gears of War, which is what I call it. Because Gears of War Judgment, I felt like was a massive step in the wrong direction after what I believe was the greatest trilogy I've ever seen in gaming. From Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3. It was an incredible time for Gears of War, an incredible time for Xbox. And I think it's just really important, guys, that we as the community are going to be the ones that really breathe life back into the Gears of War universe as a whole. Because Gears of War, it's going to do its thing when Gears of War Eday comes out. But I think that we as the community are the ones who are going to have this mindset of making sure that Gears of War doesn't go anywhere for the foreseeable future. And it's going to be up to us to instill that the changes and all the peaks that we want to see out of Gears of War. And I'm very, very excited to see that happen. So that's the announcement, guys, for the Gearscast. We're going to start bringing on Gears of War content creators, Gears of War streamers onto the show so that we have, all kinds of different opinions. And because there's going to be things that many of us agree on, things that we disagree on. But at the end of the day, the one thing that these creators and streamers, all of us, are going to have in common that you're going to see is we have an absolute passion for Gears of War and want nothing but the best for this franchise. So very excited about that. How long do you think Gears of War Eday needs after launch to grow before GTA 6? That's a really good question. I've stated for a while that I felt before GTA 6 moved from, 2025 to 2026, I felt, Gears of War Eday should launch in October, a Halloween release, the Halloween theme and all of that. But then when GTA 6 got announced for November of this year, I thought to myself, we want to stay as far away from GTA as possible, just because we want to build momentum moving into the jam-packed holiday season that's coming. And so I feel now that I would love to see Gears of War Eday have maybe a late summer release, a very early fall release. I believe more than likely we're going to see, if we go based on the past Gears of War releases, I think September is more than likely going to be the time that it gets released, but I wouldn't mind it getting released in August so that we've got, a few months before GTA 6 even releases. I would love to see that. It really depends on Xbox's slate of games that are coming out. We know Fable is going to be releasing in the autumn. We know Forza Horizon 6 is going to be releasing. I believe it's in May. So they want to kind of spread their games out a little bit. Looks like more than likely we're going to be seeing a release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. That'll probably get released. If it goes up against GTA, that's going to be really interesting. But I think they might want to try to stay a little bit ahead of GTA, maybe in October, which would essentially push Gears back, which isn't a bad thing. I think that would be a really good thing. What is up, my brother Shadows? How's it going, man? Eday is that gas, dude. And we're Shadows, guys. Dude, this guy has kept the Gears of War community. He's really carried the Gears of War community on his back for so many years. And so I think it's important that many of us who are coming into the Gears of War fray, into this universe, I've been creating Gears of War content consistently now for 10 months, but I've been doing it really on and off since 2019. And I made the decision, guys, to focus solely on Gears of War because I felt that this was a pivotal moment for Gears, an absolute massive moment for Gears of War, because with Eday coming, we are a franchise currently kind of on that's teetering. And Eday is going to be a massive moment for us as a franchise. And I felt it was really, really important that I focus solely on Gears of War moving forward, because the more of us that are talking about Gears of War, having these real conversations, I think is incredibly important as we move forward. And so anyways, I think, Shadows, Lee, you have carried Gears of War, bro, on your back, man, through all the thick and thin, and reinforcements are coming, brother. And I can't wait, guys, to get more content creators onto the Gearscast, because I want to have these real conversations. I think it is so important that we put spotlights on the things that are great about Gears of War, the things that need work. And you might not think it, you might not believe it, but the coalition is listening. I believe that. They might not be listening to me. They might not be listening to Shadows. They might not be listening to Carmine or Extra Father or Abe's or any of us. But I would bet that the coalition is listening. And the question is can our voice be loud enough to instill change and positive change that we want to see within Gears of War? And if enough of us are having these real open conversations like this, putting spotlights on the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between of Gears of War as we move into Eday and forward, I think that that's going to be very important. Because one of the things I noticed, and by the way, guys, I'm coming at you live out of Zero Dark, which is South Carolina's home for gaming and esports. You'll hear some streamers in the background. We got some guys in here that are live streaming. So if you guys hear anything, that's what that is. But I want to have these real conversations with all of you, and I want to bring on other creators, because I think it's important that you don't just hear from me. You hear from guys who help build this scene, and now it's time for us to take it to the next level. And the way that we do that is by content. Content is what helped Call of Duty through all the thick and thin. I always relate back to Call of Duty because that's where, my background really came from, was Call of Duty. And so that being said, Call of Duty is what kind of got where I got my start in all of this content creation and everything. But I attribute Gears of War to getting me into, opening my eyes to what gaming really could be. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this community, and I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. I think it is absolutely incredible, like just the response I've gotten from people. Like, it gives me chills, guys, just thinking about it. All of you who are here and relating to a lot of the things I'm saying and giving me constructive criticism and all that stuff. I think that we have to have these open conversations. I think it's very, very important. So look, we're going to be bringing on creators onto the Gearscast. That is my mindset, because we've got to have this. And myself, Extra Father, a number of us have been talking about this. Extra Father's in here. What's up, brother? I agree with you, bro, about Gears of War Eday Direct in June. I've been saying that for years. You have, dude. You've been saying it for a long time, dude. And many of us are starting to kind of jump on that on the boat of the direct for the showcase. I think it will be absolutely huge to have Eday as the direct at the showcase, because it's time, brother. It's time for a spotlight, a massive spotlight to be put on Gears of War once again. And I think that's part of the reason why they're silent. And it's an unfortunate thing, because I really feel that we should be already hearing things and seeing little snippets of information, little leaks, as you could call it, that are coming out of the coalition to give us something to really sink our teeth into. But I do think that the showcase is where Xbox wants to show it, the coalition as well. And that all being said, let's talk about the first thing that I saw that came out. It was over the last couple of weeks, and I've had some time to think about this. Asha Sharma, guys, the new appointed CEO of Xbox, she has been responding to certain people on X and on social media in relation to certain comments that people have. And I want to talk about one specifically because a lot of us have talked about this. A lot of people within the Gears of War ecosystem have been talking about this. Alejandro Romp 66 shared some interesting things, and I want to get your guys' feedback about this. He said, "Hi, as the new Xbox CEO, I hope that you understand how important exclusive games are and how games like Halo, Forza, Gears, Fable created an identity for Xbox and its players, becoming a key point for Xbox's success. Xbox games must be only on Xbox." And she said in response, "Hear you." Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Gears, I'm here to tell you that I completely disagree with this notion that Gears of War should continue as an exclusive to Xbox. And I'll tell you why. I believe, I've been a firm believer for years. You guys can watch the tape, guys. I've made so much content about this. But I believe in my heart of hearts that Gears of War should not be an Xbox exclusive anymore. Because why should Gears of War be handcuffed to one console where I believe the world should experience Gears of War? Because if we look at the numbers, the Xbox Series X and the S sold around 30 to 35 million units. The PlayStation 5 sold 70 to 75 million units. And the Nintendo Switch is on another level. We're not even going to go there because they don't share any of their games. But nonetheless, that's a family console, so we're not going to talk about that. But specifically, Xbox to PlayStation, vice versa. We saw the power of this, especially with Helldivers 2. When PlayStation released Helldivers 2 onto Xbox, it was a massive moment for the Helldivers community because, wow, so many people were playing it. And I think Gears of War Reloaded, if it was marketed better, if it was handled better, if the Coalition had more care for Gears of War Reloaded, I believe Gears of War Reloaded could have been the biggest Gears of War of all time because it was going to PlayStation, guys. But I feel that it was mishandled in a number of ways. I don't think the Coalition fully wanted to make Gears of War Reloaded. They wanted to do a collection. Xbox said no, they stepped in. And so this is just what I believe. I have no insider information, guys, of what's going on. This is just my interpretation of it. But please, don't make Gears of War Eday an exclusive to Xbox. Let's just see. Can we just get along for one title, please? Like one, I should say, like a title that's not a remaster or a remake of a remaster. Can we just do that one time just to see what happens? And if it doesn't work, okay then, fine. Make it an exclusive once again. But please, Coalition, Xbox, if anyone from the Coalition is listening to this, and guys, I will say this. I do believe it's coming to PlayStation. I really do, because I think that they had this in mind for years. I think that Asha Sharma's comments about saying, I hear you, about, you know, that these games should be exclusive to Xbox. I do believe that this game being in development, it's being made for Xbox, but also with PlayStation in mind. The question now, I wonder, is it going to come to PlayStation day one like Gears of War Reloaded did? That's my question now with Asha Sharma being the CEO. And I've said, guys, I'm good with Asha Sharma being the CEO because I think that we needed a new voice in the room. I think Phil Spencer, all the love in my heart for Phil Spencer, but I think that we needed a new voice in the room. It's like a coach in the NFL. At some point, you might have a great career, but at some point, your voice grows stale in the room. Phil Spencer's voice, I believe, grew stale. And so we have a fresh face that's here, and I'm all in to see what happens. So the question, though, that I'm going to ask all of you, and what I want us to put a spotlight on right now, is I believe that Gears of War Eday should come day one to PlayStation, as well as Xbox, certainly. Guys, a bunch of you are in here right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Gearscast. I hope, Extra Father, what's up, bro? I hope Eday is the direct this go around. It's time for Gears of War to come back hard. I agree, brother. I believe it's going to. Both companies are going back to the exclusive tactics. I'm a little bit concerned with what's going on with PlayStation right now, guys. I agree to an extent that we're seeing PlayStation, comes out stating that games are no longer going to be coming to Steam. So I don't know if that means that they don't want to release their games now on Xbox, like the console wars are back or some shit. Like, I really hope that's not happening. But look, there's some concern I have. I'm not going to lie to you. After seeing what happened there, hearing what Asha Sharma is saying, I'm a little bit concerned. If Gears of War consistently stayed good, I'd have no problem with the exclusivity because that alone would get people to buy an Xbox, but that's just not the case. I agree. I think that we've had peaks and valleys, and here's the thing, dude. I've stated this a lot, and I put some of it on the coalition for where we are currently with Gears. I put some of it, I put a lot of it on Xbox, but some of it has to fall on us as the community. Not enough of us were creating content consistently, like Shadows, like some of these guys who have helped build the scene. There hasn't been enough of us. It takes all of us, guys, to be creating content, to have these open conversations, to spotlight the things that are great and the things that suck within Gears of War. And I believe that if enough of us, scream from the rooftops, at some point, someone from the coalition is going to listen, someone from Xbox. It just, guys, we've got to be vocal about the things that are amazing and the things that are not amazing that are happening in Gears of War. The direct is always after the Xbox Game Showcase. We know we won't get any info until the showcase, but man, it's been too long for the silence. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think that my tune is it's slowly shifting, Extra. You know something, dude? I think that we're starting to, I think all of us are starting to make some noise. I've been watching your content a lot. I've been watching Shadow's content. And, I think that we're starting to make some noise. I think we might get some news before the showcase. My mindset is, the part of me is saying, like, Josh, you're crazy, dude. Like, they're not going to show anything until the showcase. But part of me is wondering, I think we're making a little bit of some noise, bro. I think there's a little bit of some disturbance happening. And maybe Xbox will step in and be like, no, guys, talking to the coalition, we're not saying nothing until the showcase. But I'm thinking to myself, what if we start hearing something within the next month? What if we get some little snippets of maybe not information, but more screenshots from the game? Something. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, the noise we're starting to make, we might get something. And if anybody from the coalition is listening right now, show us something. Because there's a community behind Gears of War. Like, we're here. Like, we are here ready to lock and load, brother. We're ready for this shit. People are literally forgetting about Eday because of the silence from TC. You know what, Extra? I'm going to disagree with you. You want to know something, dude? I think that your videos, I think that yes, people like as a whole, maybe. But if people are seeing content from a number of us on a consistent basis, like a daily basis or a weekly basis, whatever, they're sinking their teeth into the content. And then brands are going to be built through Eday. And so we're here for the community right now. And so even though the silence is there, we're reminding people. The coalition might not be right now, but we are reminding people like, hey, everybody, by the way, you know, Gears of War is coming. Eday is happening this year. We got further confirmation of it, which we're going to talk about. Kung Fu Hot Dog, what's up, bro? Thank you for the 5, I think that's European dollars. Hey, Zero, my favorite Gears are 3, 2, and 1, then Judgment. Gears 4 had annoying enemies, and the only saving grace of 5 is Hivebusters. Exclusives rule. Okay, dude. I got to disagree with you a little bit here. Gears of War 3 is the greatest Gears of War ever made, in my opinion. I'm with you on that. 2, certainly. 1, I'm with you. Judgment was the worst, in my opinion, of all the Gears of Wars. I believe that it was some interesting concepts in Gears of War Judgment, but when you're coming off of the greatest trilogy of all time, in my personal opinion, Judgment was a massive step in the wrong direction, and I believe it led us into the dark ages of Gears of War. I've said that a number of times, because after Judgment, we can all agree, whether you like Judgment or not, all video games are subjective. What I believe is awesome, you may totally disagree, and vice versa. So you loving Judgment, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. But I believe it led us into the dark ages of Gears of War, because at that moment in time, we didn't know, like, well, is Gears of War coming back? Like, what's happening here? And then the coalition was formed, and we got Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which I believe was a safe bet, but I thought it was fine. I was like, great. Gears of War 4, I believe, was the best game that the coalition has made so far. I hope Eday knocks that shit out of the water. Gears 5, I agree, was a step in the wrong direction. You know, Gears Tactics had some interesting things. Gears Pop, like, I just felt like, you know, we started to slowly veer away from our identity, because Gears 5, I've said this a number of times, Extra Father's heard this, a number of you guys have heard this. Gears 5's biggest issue was the simple fact of the matter is that they changed the name from Gears of War to Gears. You and I, the boys, we talk about Gears of War as Gears for short. But the moment they took away the of War to just Gears, you started losing the identity of Gears of War. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I said this on, I believe it was the last episode of the podcast. We're back. Gears of War Eday. It's not Gears Eday. Notice they could have done that shit to us with Gears Eday, but it's Gears of War. The comparisons of like God of War and Gears of War, it's bullshit, dude. This is Gears of War, and we're back. So when you talk about Gears 4 had annoying enemies, I mean, there was things about it, guys, that sure, there were things I didn't love about Gears of War 4, but I was down for the direction. I was like, okay, let's see where they go with this. You know, I like that the torch was passed from Marcus to JD. At some point, you've got to pass the torch. It happens in all the video games. But the fact that we moved on from JD so quickly in Gears 5, that's where I just felt like, not that I didn't like Kate Diaz as a character. I thought I liked her a lot. But I just didn't understand, why are we moving on from JD so quickly? You changed the name to Gears, and semi-open world, it's a valiant effort, but I felt like it's not Gears of War. That's not Gears. And so, nonetheless, it is what it is. I liked Hivebusters for what it was, but if you could replace Hivebusters with Beast Mode or some of these other modes that we've seen in the past, I'm all in for that. Hivebusters was interesting to me. I'm not totally against them ever bringing it back in Gears of War, but bring back Beast Mode, bro. Beast Mode was innovative. It was, dude, I loved Beast Mode. I'm like, oh, dude, fucking loved it with all my heart, dude. let's see here. I got numerous comments on my first video back. Where is this game? Of people saying, wow, I forgot this game was coming out. Exactly, Extra. Exactly, bro. You, Shadows, Abes, all of us, like, we are putting a spotlight reminding people that, yo, bro, Gears of War Eday's coming, dude. And it takes all of us. It takes fucking all of us. I love seeing that, dude. I love that for you, dude. I've been posting this Delta Online gameplay series, but game got to the point where it don't have an active player base. I think, you want to know something, bro? I think that Shadows, like, you have, one of the things I love, dude, is that anything Gears of War, you're trying to cover. You're trying to be, like, you're actively on it. And I think it's awesome, dude. Like, you're dissecting every little element of it, and it's incredible because it's a library of content unlike anybody else has ever seen in YouTube history when it comes to Gears of War, period. Delta Online is I mean, dude, it's great for, I think it's great for Gears of War, but we all want the next entry of Gears. We all want it, and we feel it, and I think that it had gas for a period of time, and we're just, it's reminiscing the past is what it's doing. It's just a reminiscent, and you can only do that so much before it's like, where's the next fucking thing, bro? Where is it? So anyways, we just need something to talk about. Bro, if we had some info, we'd all have some ideas for numerous videos. I agree. We're getting there, bro. Like a little bit longer, dude. A little bit longer, my brother. A little bit longer. Kung Fu, Cliffy B, leaving ruined Gears. UK pounds, my man, real money. Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome, dude. I appreciate you, brother. I'm going to say this, dude, and it might be a little bit controversial to some of you. Cliffy B leaving Gears, I don't believe it ruined Gears of War. Because I love Cliffy B just as much as any of us Gears of War fans. I love it. Like, guys, he has a very special place in my heart. But once again, kind of like Phil Spencer, if you stay too long, you overstay your welcome. And I feel like Cliffy, after we saw Gears of War Judgment, and he was talking about interesting concepts, but I didn't fully agree with some of the stuff he was talking about. Like, I mean, it would have been interesting to see, but he was talking about like locusts with wings and stuff like this, and had very, like, they were interesting concepts, but like after Judgment came out, I was like, dude, it's time to move on. It's time. And you could argue that the Coalition after Gears 5, like, you could have said, hey, dude, it's time to move on. But they did. We don't have Rod Ferguson anymore. So I have a real, like, soft place in my heart for Cliffy B and Rod Ferguson, because Cliffy B started this whole thing. Rod Ferguson helped bring it back. But at some point, Rod Ferguson said that we're going to get a Gear 6, a Gear 7, a Gears of War movie. We know the movie it's coming at some point, guys, but we haven't seen it yet. It's been kind of in a development hell cycle. Gear 6 isn't here. Gear 7 isn't here, which I'm glad, right? Because if we would have got a Gear 6, we would have never gotten Gears of War Eday, and we would have went from a semi-open world to a full open world. And I truly believe this, guys, and I want to hear your thoughts. I think that if Gear 6 happened, it would have ruined the franchise. Because it wouldn't have been Gears of War 6. It would have been Gear 6. Full open world. Like, the dark grittiness would have started to leave. The trends of chasing Fortnite and Call of Duty and all these other games would have happened even more. We moved on. Rod left. Thank you, Rod. I'm like, I have all the love in my heart for Rod Ferguson helping bring Gears of War back. It was time. The same thing with Cliffy B. So now it leads us to where we are. Gears of War Tactics story narrative was incredible. Yukon is one of the best characters. Dude, Gears of War Tactics story was great. It was great. I'm 1000% with you, Shadows. I 100% agree with that notion. I think this will have a pendulum. What's up, Transformers? I think this will have a pendulum war section. I have a feeling. That's interesting. I would love a whole game around the pendulum wars. Personally, I think that would be awesome. Because I think that you, am I wrong? Like, could you do like a whole game? I mean, I feel like you could do a whole game around it. I mean, look, Eday is a great place for us to go here with Gears of War. I think it's perfect. Like, you could not have written a better script for where Gears of War needed to go and where it's going. And so now we just got to see, okay, tone setting is perfect in that trailer. The official reveal trailer for Gears of War Eday is one of the greatest Gears of War trailers I have ever seen. Like, it's up there with, you know, Brothers to the End, Ashes to Ashes. I mean, like, it's up there, guys, for me. Personally, is one of the greatest Gears of War trailers ever, because what it meant at the time, because a lot of people believe that we're currently in a second dark age of Gears of War, like where's the series going and all that stuff. It was a massive moment. That trailer had so much riding on it, and I think they knocked it out of the park. Now let's see where we go, because it was just a cinematic trailer at the end of the day. Let's see here. Beast mode. Everyone knows I love some beast mode. Yeah, dude. 100%. I done an Eday video discussing Battle of Asphalt Fields from Marcus and Carlos' perspective. Just like Gears of War 4, but Marcus's POV. Yeah, dude. Look, like, I think the Battle of Asphalt Field. Ah, dude, bro. You know what? One of the things, guys, I've been actively doing right now, because you know what, dude? The one thing that I suck at is, like, I don't read enough. Like, I don't read enough novels and stuff. I need to get, one of my missions before Eday comes out is to get caught up on all the novels, to just, like Shadows, I want to become a full-blown Gears head where I understand, like, okay, timelines, understand where we are, different, you know. The one, I believe the one novel I don't have currently that I need to get is The Slab. That's the one I need to get. I've got the other ones. I'm reading through Jacinto's Remnant right now. I've been kind of, I don't know if I've been reading them fully in order, but nonetheless, doesn't matter. I just, oh, bro, I hope we get more and more novels. Let me put it to you guys like that. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Let's see. If Gears 6 would have been on the same level as Gears 5, I'll be honest, I would have been done. Yeah, I just think that we would have been in a pretty rough spot as a franchise with Gears 6. I just do, guys. We would have continued to lose our identity, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But there were definitely things that they left on a cliffhanger, like what was canon? Did Dell die? Did JD die? Like, you know, there was a lot of question marks there. But nonetheless, there was... I'm very happy that we've got Eday. I'm so happy we've got Eday. Rod's vision, sure, but I believe Gears of War 6 has potential in the future. I do too. I mean, it's got to be the right person though, right? It's got to be the right vision for it. It's got to be the right vision. We can't lose sight of who we are as a franchise. Gears of War was built as a dark, gritty action horror, you know, linear experience that revolved around the heart and soul of Marcus and Dom. And we know that you got to pass the torch at some point, and they did to JD. I would have loved to see, like, where JD's, you know, story arc would have gone. We saw him turn into an asshole of a character in Gears 5, which I just didn't love. And so, you know, revisiting Gears of War 6, I'm in. But it's got to be the right vision. I don't think we will ever get a Pendulum Wars game, as it will be just a human versus human conflict. That's interesting, dude. I didn't really think of it like that. Yeah, you might, like, turn into full-blown Call of Duty at that point, maybe. I don't know. It would be interesting, but I totally understand where you're coming from. I think the smart way to incorporate the Pendulum Wars into Gears of War games is by having a prologue that relatable to the story narrative characters in the Locust War story. It's interesting. just like they did for Gears of War 4. Huh. Yeah, I didn't really think of it like so much like so much like that. That's interesting. I love getting your mindset on that. I think Eday trailer is probably the best trailer. That reveal hit all of us so fucking hard. I agree, dude. It really did. It was a massive moment for the Gears of War community. It just was, bro. Because I don't think we were expecting it. Can any of us like honestly say that we were expecting Eday? I was not expecting Eday. I was not, dude. But I'm very happy that it's Eday, guys. Make no mistake about it. Kung Fu Hot Dog, thank you again for the $2. Hopeful, but Gears of War Eday needs a midnight launch. Oh, bro. Of course, dude. Of course it does. I'll be hosting a Gears of War Eday midnight launch here in Zero Dark. That is a fact. That will absolutely be happening. But yeah, I think that night, we as the community have to make that really, really special. That's what I'm in the progress of right now, playing all the games and reading comics. Yeah, dude, I think it's amazing. I think that's awesome. I did a filmmaker's breakdown of the Eday trailer. It was amazing from a filmmaker's point of view. That's awesome, dude. That is really cool. Jack Fernley. Jack, I'm going to have to watch that, bro. I'm definitely going to have to watch that. That's awesome. Only reason Gear 6 succeeds is if Kate turns into the baddie of the game and teams up with Mira. That concept would keep me intrigued. Huh. Yeah. Because your question going into Gears 6 would have been, is she slowly going to the dark side, to the Locust, right? Like, are we playing the villain? I agree, dude. I think that you're totally on something there, and that would have been very, very interesting to me as well. So, you know, we were talking about Cliffy B, guys. Cliffy B, he kind of talked about the silence of Gears of War Eday. He tweeted out stating, so when are we going to get some Gears Eday news? You know, guys, I think that even though we've been like kind of giving our theories of when we're going to hear news, I think that all of us have something to do with potentially the timeline of when content comes out. I might be wrong. We might be waiting until the showcase, but I think that the more that we're having these conversations, I think that I'm starting to believe that we might hear something before the showcase. We might start getting some screenshots. Who knows, man? We could get another, could we potentially get another cinematic trailer, campaign trailer, and then the Eday Direct really dives into multiplayer, co-op modes. Certainly the campaign gets some, you know, some of the guys and girls from the Coalition giving us some, you know, interviews on what it was like working on Eday and what they're excited about and all of that stuff. That could be like the Direct, right? But could we get something before? If we get anything before, guys, if we get anything in the form of a trailer, it'll be a campaign trailer, in my personal opinion. Gears cannot go into space in 6 if it happens. Yeah. The whole Gears of War in space is an interesting thing. I don't know. It has been talked about in Gears of War lore. And talked about just, I believe like Carmine talked about this and stuff within the games. I believe Shadows had mentioned this, and actually one of my previous Gearscast, he had mentioned this. So he knows more about kind of the inside and out of Gears of War in space. Could it be interesting? Yes. Am I glad we're doing Eday first before we ever get to something like that? Absolutely. Based on Gears 5 ending, Kate ripping off her necklace signals that she stands with the cog against the enemy side. Yeah, I agree. It does. But wouldn't it be an interesting plot twist if Kate decided to, the whole time, we're actually playing the next Locust Queen, right? It would be a very interesting plot twist. Not that I want that to happen, but what would you say, call me intrigued by that concept? I would say absolutely. Gears of War in space has been teased since Gears of War 2 in 2008. Yeah, I thought it was a while ago that they teased this, but yeah, I could, would it be the worst idea? I mean, look, dude, Gears of War's universe is vast. We haven't even scratched the surface of really what Gears of War could be. This universe could be massive. Is it as massive as maybe like Star Wars or something like that? Probably not. But I think we've only scratched the surface, really. Because when you think about it, it's revolves solely, for the most part, around Marcus and Dom. And not that that's a bad thing. These are two of the most iconic characters in all of gaming history. All of gaming. So, we'll see what happens. I think for Gears 6, that they'll do is try to bring back whoever was killed, because otherwise, like I've said, it's going to be a mess to write 2 different stories for one game. Well, I think that, you got... Well, I mentioned this, guys, in a video where I talked about Gears 6 and where we could potentially be going in the future. I thought it would be really interesting. It would be very difficult to pull off for the Coalition, but what if in Gears of War 6, they had this, whatever you chose, whatever path you chose in Gears 5, whatever choice you made, JD dies, Del dies, that carries over to Gears 6. I don't know how they would do this, the logistics. It would link to your profile, essentially, where if you chose Del dying, JD's arc would be canon for you in Gear 6, or vice versa. I thought that would be really interesting, kind of like a Mass Effect type of situation. I think it would be really hard to pull off, but I thought that would be really interesting. I think at the end of the day, though, what was going to be canon was Del was going to die. JD would live. But anyway, Del Walker's the canon death. Yeah. Ben Carmine in the Rook tutorial mentions that one guy from Basic believes the locust came from the nearby planet Resea. That's right. That's right. Yep. I gotta go, man. Working on a video about Gears 4, so I'm running through the whole game again. Thank you for your voice, and we all in the community appreciate you. Peace out, everyone. Peace out, brother. I appreciate you extra. I really do, man. We're gonna be getting you on a Gearscast here shortly. Let's collaborate on some content here soon, brother. They need to do Eday and all the Eday DLCs, then do a Locust-based game like Gears of War Lambency, then maybe a Gears of War Pen Wars, etc. They do so much. They have 80 years of Pendulum Wars to work with and 7 years before. That's interesting, Jack. I mean, there is a lot of history, a lot of story that they can, if they so choose, that they can do, right? Where they're going, I think a lot of it lands on specifically how well Eday does. That's why we as a community have got to rally together, brothers to the fucking end, and breathe the life into the community, into just making Eday very successful, right? Maintaining our fan base, and then, because we can't look at the future, we have to treat Eday like this is it. This is the last Gears of War game we're ever going to get. So it's all in, all of us, all fucking in right now, because I don't believe Eday's the end, guys, but we have to have that mindset like this is it. This is the end. So lock in for the long run here, because it's going to be epic, and it's going to be because of us and the Coalition listening to what we believe needs to happen within the franchise moving forward. And then we can breathe life back into whatever else we want from Gears of War Eday. Gears Esports. Can we bring back the Gears of War Pro Circuit? Please. Like, not right away. Let Eday build and like be able to breathe on its own, then bring back the Gears of War Pro Circuit, and let's build this thing. And then we get, future entries into Gears of War as we go, but it's got to be built on content. I talk about Call of Duty all the time, guys. Call of Duty was built on content. Make no mistake about it. It was built on content. So we got to lock into that. Let's see where there's the UIR, the minor children with Rustlung, space, the hunt for the remaining locust thing. There's a lot of things. I agree. I think there is a lot of stuff. Summer Game Fest is where Eday footage is revealed. Since Cliffy B dropped his tweet on Jeff Keighley's post. That's interesting. When is Summer Game Fest? Because they just had the Future Game Showcase. So I don't know when Summer Game Fest is. Is that before or after the Xbox Game Showcase? If it's before, that'd be really interesting. I mean, I think the best place for the Coalition to have shown certain things for Gears of War Eday would have been great to see it at the PlayStation State of Play. If it was coming to PlayStation, you know, what better way than to show Gears of War Eday with an incredible trailer or something at this PlayStation State of Play, where it's like, hey guys, Eday's here and it's coming to PlayStation day one. Because now we kind of wonder, like, okay, is it coming day one to PlayStation, or are we going to have to wait for PlayStation players to be able to play this later? That's where it gets a little bit dicey. The Lambent virus can be explored so much more than what it has been in 3. It's interesting. Shadow says he doesn't believe it. He says, no, it won't be at the Summer Game Fest. Everything for Eday will be at the Xbox Game Showcase. Do you think, hey, Shadows, do you think that Eday should have been shown at the PlayStation State of Play? Because I do. Especially if it's coming to PlayStation. I think it would have been a great opportunity for them to show it there. I know Xbox wants to kind of control like where it's being shown and stuff, but I just think there would have been no better way than to show it at the State of Play. I mean, it's kind of a moot point because it's over with, like, the State of Play is here and gone. But I just feel like that would have been a great opportunity, because now I wonder, like, is it coming to PlayStation day one like it did for Reloaded? I don't know, man. What about Gears VR game? Dude, let's not go with the virtual reality right now. Can we just get back on track first, please? Like, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do or they shouldn't do a virtual reality game at some point, but let's build the scene again. Can we just build the scene again and then kind of go from there first? I don't know. Let's see. No, it's Xbox first party wouldn't ever be shown at a PlayStation event. But here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. They showed Beast of Reincarnation. So it's like, I agree with you, but I'm like, well, Beast of Reincarnation, which is an Xbox game that's being made from Mind Freak or whatever, the guys and girls that have done Pokemon and stuff, and then Xbox acquired them and all of that. Well, they showed Beast of Reincarnation, and Beast of Reincarnation is not going to be near the magnitude of something like Gears of War. So that's where I'm like, I just don't understand, you know? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But let's see. Eday will be the main focus at the showcase. Halo got their stuff last year. Fable and Forza got theirs in Dev Direct. Gears of War is the only one out of the 4 that hasn't gotten literally anything. I agree. It's got to be the main focus. It has to be the Direct, dude. It has to be. And I believe that the Direct needs to be an in-depth look of everything Eday. Everything. Like story, co-op, multiplayer. Like, show us everything. And announce the beta that day. Announce it that day. Be like, yo, guys, by the way, the Gears of War Eday beta is available right now. Mic drop. Like, it would get everybody so fucking hyped. Like, bro, I don't think that they would be able to handle the servers. Like, I think it would break the Gears of War internet. Like, it would be incredible if they did that. It's not Xbox first party. I thought it was for some reason. But, yep. Coalition is Xbox Game Studios company, part of Microsoft Gaming. Yeah. I keep saying to myself, saving the best for last, but it sucks. I love Gears. Yeah. I mean, look, dude, it does suck that we're kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. I believe, guys, in my heart of hearts, I believe it's going to be worth the wait. I just do. Okay, so I want to talk about this, guys. This is really important. We got news. And it's like, it's not maybe necessarily the news that we necessarily wanted, but it's further confirmation of something. I'm going to take reference, guys, from an article that came out. This is coming to us from Instant Gaming News. Xbox confirms that Gears of War Eday is coming out this year. So we got further confirmation of it. We saw confirmation, obviously, at the Xbox, or I should say the Game Awards. Got that little snippet trailer from the Game Awards trailer, or Xbox Game Pass trailer, confirmed for 2026, Gears of War Eday. We got further confirmation of it, guys. Announced in June of 2024 during the Xbox Game Showcase, Gears of War Eday has had only one trailer so far. However, the Coalition's title is expected to be released in the coming months. In a recent article dedicated to its Project Helix console, Microsoft has once again confirmed that Gears of War Eday will be released in 2026. So this is what it says, guys. Xbox has an incredible lineup of games, or I should say game releases this year, from the return of iconic first-party franchises like Halo and Gears of War to major titles from our partners across the globe, alongside bold creativity from independent developers like Beat Haven and Dinosaurs Mixtape or Crimson Desert from Pearl Abyss. So let's hope we get the opportunity to see the game again in the near future. So they highlighted Halo and Gears of War. I mean, the two most iconic games that Xbox, first party possesses. These are the two biggest games, right? Both of them are kind of in the same boat in terms of they got to get knocked out of the park in a number of ways. But here we are. We got a snippet of information. And it's really confirmation, guys. I say like it's breaking news because this just kind of came out. But the fact that they're reconfirming, we know Halo Campaign Evolved is coming. Kind of reminds me of a Gears of War Reloaded, to be quite honest with you, but even less than Gears of War Reloaded because it's just the campaign for Halo fans. We're getting Eday, though. And it's further confirmation it's coming out this year, which means that I believe, guys, within the next month, I think we're going to get something. At first, I was thinking we're not hearing shit until the showcase, but as there's more buzz around the community from the content that's being created from different content creators in Gears of War and all of that stuff, we're getting closer, ladies and gentlemen, to hearing something in relation to what Eday encompasses, right? Could be screenshots. It could be a story trailer. It could be something. And then we get the direct at the Xbox Game Showcase with hopefully the announcement of the beta releasing that day or the next day or whatever. And I'm hoping that Eday releases like in September to stay ways away from GTA 6. But at the very least, certainly September. Hopefully it's actually maybe like a summer blockbuster, like an late August release. That would be like end the summer with a bang, bro. That would be incredible. I still think 3 to 4 months isn't enough time to run a beta, gather feedback, make sure everything is balanced, especially the Nasher. The servers are working, etc. Dude, I think it's enough time. Like, okay, let me put it to you like this. Let's say the showcase, in June. Let's say at the end of the showcase, we got the direct. At the end of the direct, they say, ladies and gentlemen, we're really excited about Eday. With this last announcement, we're really excited to announce to all of you. Gears of War Eday's beta is available right now. The internet goes absolutely insane. If they announced it on PlayStation as well as Xbox, it would go absolutely berserk. the entire community would flip the fuck out if they gather feedback from beta 1 to beta 2 or whatever, which say the first beta is, you know, the June showcase, you know, that whole week or whatever, and then they do another one the following week, and they have a couple of months, you know, all of July, all of August, or most of August, like 2 months to hash out all the issues, bugs, glitches, things of that nature, I think they'd be ready. I just do. I mean, how many months do you need to get like the bugs and stuff? Because the game should be fully polished for the most part outside of bugs and glitches and stuff. And that's what, because here's the thing, bro. Jack, at the end of the day, dude, we don't want a Gears of War 2 situation at launch. Gears of War 2 was a nightmare of a launch for one of the greatest games ever made. I'll die on that hill. I think it was one of the greatest games of all time, but what a terrible launch. We don't want that. Like, we don't want that. So hash it out, you know, yeah, earlier, you know, in June. And when issues arise, when the game releases, the defining moment for studios is not when things are great. It's for when things suck. Adversity hits. When adversity hits, what do you do in those situations? Are you going to run away from it or are you going to run towards it? We've seen studios run away from it time and time again, and the games die. Studios that run towards the adversity and lock in and fix the game, like CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk 2077. You guys remember that shit? They locked in and created a masterpiece. No Man's Sky, I think that was Hello Games. Again, total nightmare of a launch. They locked in, believed in the title, ran towards the adversity, and fixed the game. What I'm saying is when there are issues, when things come up, what do you do in those situations? Do you run away from them or towards them? I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that when adversity hits, and it's going to hit in Gears of War Eday, I want to challenge the coalition, run towards the adversity, fix the issues when they come out, fix them immediately, and let's create the greatest Gears of War of all time. Let's fucking do it. What Nasher do you want it to be in Eday? The one from Gears 2 or 3? I think every Nasher was pretty decent, but the worst by far is one from Gears 5. It's interesting. I mean, I think, you know, Gears of War Reloaded's Nasher was pretty OP, if you guys remember. Like, it was pretty OP for a while. Honestly, it's, to me, it's not even so much about which Nasher do you want. Because we could have multiple renditions of the Nasher. It's about balancing the Nasher. That's just what it is. It's about balancing, making it like where, you know, every weapon is a viable option in certain situations in multiplayer. You know, like I don't want the Nasher to be the only weapon everyone's using in multiplayer. I think that there should be viable options regardless, because that really builds variety of spice, as you could call it. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. So it's not so much about which Nasher do you want to see. It's about balancing whatever Nasher. Just balance it. Make it so it's not super OP, right? Make it so it's a Nasher, right? It's a very powerful weapon. But let's also balance the other weapons that in certain situations, this weapon is going to be really good in long range or mid range, short range. Yeah, sure. The Nasher is going to be great in those situations. Pistols, you know, Boltok, Lancer. Like, I want a good variety. Obviously, the power weapons, make sure those are balanced. It's about balancing to me, dude. That's really what it comes down to. It would be cool if they announced the beta as some sort of emergence hole, if you can catch my drift. That's interesting. You want to know something cool, bro? I was thinking about this. You know, I dissected the Gears of War Eday trailer that came out, and I said, in that there was a number of things that we could gather from the trailer. Like, could we see destructible cover? Kind of like Battlefield, right? You know, you shoot at something, it starts damaging the cover. You saw Marcus grab the TV and smash it over the Locust head. Could you have, you know, interactive environments, grabbing cover, putting it over yourself, grabbing certain items, throwing it, or smashing your enemies? Here's another interesting one with destructible cover. Imagine this. Imagine the emergence holes like form during live matches and part of the map gets like sucked into the emergence hole. So part of like, say your cover at some point goes into an emergence hole, so you got to be moving around, dude. And it could be maybe a separate game mode, but I'm just thinking about what if the destructible cover along with e-holes creating elements live in the matches that create very unpredictable circumstances. Imagine. I'm just thinking about it, guys. From a creative perspective, you could really make some amazing, interesting perspectives. And I especially think about this with like horde mode, right? A way to make horde mode even more interesting would be the emergence holes bring down buildings on the map and stuff. And it's like, holy shit, dude. Well, now we got to have our reinforcements and like reinforce different areas of the map because, you know, and everything's at random. Can you guys imagine that shit? I think destructible cover, destructible environments, not at maybe the level of certain games, but imagine like horde mode, maybe in certain multiplayer modes where the emergence holes start like damaging parts of the map. Oh my God, bro. The competitive, like people not camping no more, dude. You're not going to camp no more. Like just like what I'm saying is think about that. And we can run with that as a creative community. I think it'd be really interesting. Retro Lancer, there you go. There's a knee slide movement in the trailer. Fuck yeah, dude. That's an interesting one too. The knee slide. I'm just, bro, my mind goes all over the place after watching the trailer, right? And I know yours did too, Shadows. Like oh man, I just think about it, dude. It gives me chills just thinking about where they could go with what they're thinking, and just think of like the updates, right? Like imagine they have like a seasonal system for Gears of War Eday, which I'm not saying is like what they should do or whatever, guys. But if like even just updating the game to having some of these features just to test them, right? You know, like Christmas time, they always have, you know, Gears Miss and all this stuff. Like imagine they just test certain stuff. It's like, let's see what the community would think about all this crazy destructible, like the emergence holes are like sucking part of the like environments and stuff. Imagine like a Gears battle royale and it's all around like a Gears of War, like massive emergence hole. The map's like caving in and you're like, holy shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just like think about it. Like, I'm not saying that the whole game should be that. I'm saying imagine certain game modes where your creative imagination could run wild, bro. So Gears of War Eday semi-realistic. You know, Transformers, that's an interesting question, dude. That's an interesting question, bro. I mean, I think there's definitely certain elements of Gears where they're semi-realistic, right? The story as a whole isn't realistic, but the heart of Gears of War, the soul, Gears and Marcus, love, brothers to the end, camaraderie, all those things are real emotion, real feeling. Dom losing his wife, like sacrifice for the betterment of humanity. That's real raw emotion, real raw feelings and factual things that happen, that can happen in war, in real life in battle. So, yes, dude, I'm with you. There's so much they can do, bro. TCR literally sat on a gold mine of ideas, content games. If they mess this up, it will be one of the biggest fumbles of all time. I agree. I agree with you, Jack. I don't think they're going to fumble it, dude. They might not do all the ideas that I'm, you know, they're not going to be like, oh, Zero, we're going to listen to all of Zero's ideas. You know, I mean, as they shouldn't, right? I'm not a game developer, but my mind runs wild with some of this stuff. And I think if enough of us say, hey, Coalition, this might be a good idea, they might be like, you know what? Let's listen to the Gears of War community. Let's listen to this universe and like who's given us so much. Let's give back and just give them some other modes. I don't know how complex it is. It could be very complex. But what if it wasn't super complex? You know, I think, guys, that it is very important that we echo the things that we want out of Gears of War into existence. It's not me. It's not Shadows. It's not Extra Father and Carmine and Abe's. It's not us. It's all of us. It's the whole fucking community, dude. We've got to breathe life into Gears of War, man. Like, we got to be the backbone of this thing. No one's going to give it to us. Like, we've got to go take it, dude. Like, we've got to breathe life into what we want to see out of Gears of War, man. For too long, we've let Xbox kind of just handle the Gears of War, and they've created great games, you know, from Epic Games to the Coalition. They've created some great things, some bad things. But I think it's time that whether Gears of War games in the future are great or not, we as the community, it has to be like Call of Duty. You want to, like, as I keep bringing up Call of Duty, because that's kind of a lot of my background was Call of Duty, but I saw, and I've seen it with Call of Duty through all the good games and the bad games, there's one common denominator. There's still a massive community around it. Why? Well, it's because there's content creators that are still breathing life into the games. Whether they're good or bad, they're still there creating content. We've got to be that for Gears of War. Gears of War has been here. We got to have Gears of War's back through all of it. And there's been a very small minority of people who have created content through the good and the bad. Guys like Shadows, guys, I give so much love to Shadows because that dude has carried the Gears of War content community on his fucking back, dude. And it's time that he gets reinforcements. It's time, dude. Gears of War needs to be back and stay back. I want Gears of War. Guys, is this shit on? Is this shit on? Gears of War, I'm not even kidding right now. I am not bullshitting, I promise, when I say this. I want Gears of War to be around as long as I'm around. As long as I live and breathe, man. I want Gears of War to be around as long as that. Like, I think of games like a sports franchise. Like, I'm a big fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've had peaks and valleys, guys. We've won Super Bowls, and we've had such shit years, right? Through all of it, though, like, you followed the journey, you follow the story, right? And I feel like games like Call of Duty are going to be here for forever, you know, unless something crazy happens. Gears of War, I want to be that, man. And that's why I've dedicated this channel to Gears of War and to only Gears of War, because I want it to be around for forever. Like, I believe in this franchise. I really do, guys. Like, I get chills thinking about it because I truly believe in this franchise and what it represents and how it changed my life in a number of ways. It changed my life as, like, just you might not believe this, guys, but like Gears of War, I attribute it to keeping me out of trouble. Like, when I was in college, or for a lot of you, like university, when I was in college, I went to the #1 party school in the nation. I studied film. I went to film school, but it was the #1 party school in the nation. Instead of going to parties, I created content and played games. Gears of War was one of them. And it just kept me out of trouble. Like, it really did, guys. And so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with partying. I love party culture. What I'm saying, though, through all of this, Gears of War has done a lot for me as a human being. And the community's done a lot for me as a human. I want to give back to that. And I want to help. I want to build this thing together. Put spotlights on the things that are great and the things that aren't great. And echo the things that we want out of Gears of War into existence, whatever that might be. And I'm grateful for all of you guys for being along on this journey with me. If they're going to include any destructible cover in Gears Eday, this is the game to do it. I'm with you, bro. 100%, dude. Going back to the whole, going back to weapons idea, around the time of Eday, Bernie McCarty did pick up a long-range lever action rifle while she was on her homeland. That's an interesting one. Israel, I'm not sure, like, that's a great point. I'm not sure. But because I'm not super well versed on everything, the lore of everything that went on. I'm trying to learn more about it through like the novels and stuff. I'm currently reading through, I was telling the chat a little bit earlier, I'm reading through Jacinto's Remnant right now. I've got Asphalt Fields. I still need to purchase the slab. Like, I'm trying to educate myself on everything Gears of War. And so I'm kind of going through it right now. So I'm not sure exactly, but nonetheless, I appreciate you being here, man, for sure. And I hope, like, let's get some real conversations going about that. Darth Billy, what's up, man? Gears of War has a heavy realistic feel. I mean, like, in certain elements, I agree with you, right? In certain ways. Other ways it doesn't, it's a fictitious, fictitious city, there's a lot of fiction to it, but it's built on a lot of realism in terms of like war, human emotion, camaraderie, sacrifice and pain, and what pain does to good people. That's all of that is very realistic to me. We also need massive battles in the campaign and multiplayer, like when we are on the rig in Gears of War 2. One of the reasons why I love 2 so much is because you felt like you were part of a big military ops. Huh. I mean, my question to you is this, Jack. Extra Father said something about having 20v20 in multiplayer for Gears of War Eday, and I disagreed with him on it. I don't want Gears of War to turn into Battlefield or Call of Duty. I just don't. Now, certain game modes, maybe. I would be down with maybe a Gears Battle Royale type of game mode where there's like an emergence hole and it's like caving in and that's like the circle and, something very unique like that, maybe. But the whole 20v20, I just feel like it's too much chaos. It doesn't feel like Gears of War to me. I don't know. I've grown up as Gears of War being a dark, linear horror experience, right? And of course it was built on the story arcs of like Marcus Dom passing the torch to Marcus's son JD and all of that. But, so I don't know how I feel about the crazy huge 20v20 and all that stuff. I don't know if I love that. But if you're talking about the campaign, I would love to see that in the campaign. I'm with you on that, brother. Let's see. Massive hordes of locusts on the screen at one time rather than just 5 to 10. Yeah, I'm with you. That would be interesting. Like whether it's like horde mode or like in campaign, 1000%. I want them to capture that essence. In certainly a couple of missions would be great. I'll be with you, Shadows, and every other brother of Gears. Let's fucking go, Transformers. The slab is amazing. It will tell you how Marcus got his scar. Jack, I love it, bro. What could be the final boss of the game? More creative juices flowing, ladies and gentlemen. You know what, man? I'm going to tell you what. As a fan of Gears of War, surprise me. Just surprise me, dude. Make something epic that is make whatever the main baddie is, the main, you know, that General Rom, that you know, whatever, Queen Mira, well, not Queen Mira, but you know what I mean, like make that final boss something special and leave us, here's a challenge to the coalition, leave us on somewhat of a cliffhanger that Gears, the story, the plan is that this isn't the end, that we're going to continue, whether it's the story, maybe what they do, guys, is they end it right where Gears of War 1 begins. Maybe they end it like, because I believe it's over the course of a number of days, like in Eday, like it's chronologically like a few days or something of that nature. Like it's not going like, you know, one day and then a year later, or like, you know, 6 months later. From my understanding, it sounds like it's just going over the course of a number of days in the city of Kelowna. And that's where the story is going to kind of lead us. Like Eday, like maybe before Eday, what was going on before that. So we'll probably get some before, you know, chapters, or a chapter before, during, and like after, and like what this meant for the world of Sarah. Like, yeah, it's going to be something, dude. But that last, it's got to be epic. I will tell you that it's got to be epic, and it's got to be something we can sink our teeth into. Just because it's like this massive boss doesn't mean that it's really going to resonate with us. General Rom resonated with us. I think they need to do that here with Gears of War Eday. Show us the main guy, girl, whatever it is, that main boss. Show us throughout the game, and show us the sinister nature of this character. Make us as an audience like, that's a pretty badass character, but I want to fuck this dude up. Like, make that our mindset throughout the course of the campaign. So make it something that we connect to, relate to, or whatever. That would be awesome. The 20v20 is a good idea. Maybe a Helldivers idea type mode where 20 to 30 gears are holding a city, or something with live real consequences. Yeah. I think that 20 to 30 gears are holding a city. I mean, 20v20, dude, I disagree, dude, that I just don't think 20v20 is unless it's like some kind of battle royale or something. I don't want us to go towards this route of like Battlefield or Call of Duty. I don't know. Like, unless it's like a certain mode that they test for a period of time. I don't know. I don't know. They could add Jermad as a boss, maybe a mini boss. Look, I want them to surprise me. Surprise me with the final boss. If they could do something innovative with a battle royale with Gears, I'd be cool with that. Like a free-for-all, but with a twist. I got a Gears tattoo after the Eday trailer released. That's awesome, dude. Love Gears. Yeah, man, that's so cool. Gears of War has touched so many of us, right? We wouldn't be here if it didn't touch us in a certain way throughout the course of our journeys. And Gears of War's done a lot for me, man. Like, it's just, since I got the game back in 2007, it came out in 2006. I bought it with my 360 on the summer of 2007. It's changed my life in a number of ways, man. It really has. And so that's awesome, dude. Eday will take place 2 to 3 days. Yeah, it covers around 4 days. Yeah, Shadows. Yeah, guys, look no further than when it comes. Shadows knows all the ins and outs. He's got to have some connections over at the Coalition at this point. So, yeah, it's certainly been reported that it's just like a number of days, guys, in the city of Kelowna is when when it's happening. So, which I think is good. Keep it like linear and keep it like within a certain amount of days. Don't be jumping all over the place and stuff. Like, no, dude, like for people who are just jumping into Gears of War for the first time, like make this like, yo, this is Gears of War and it's chronological. you know, and people, it's easy to like understand like what is happening. I think that'll be great. Please keep Gears away from Battle Royale. I mean, look, like, I think that shouldn't be the heart of Gears of War. Would I be interested in seeing it in some capacity as a mode in the future? I wouldn't mind it, guys. I wouldn't. But right now, don't do it right now. Please. We don't want the resources and development going into that when it's kind of the last thing that we need right now. We just need the game to be great. We need the multiplayer to be fleshed out. We need co-op to be fleshed out, like all the great co-op modes that we want to see. Classics, innovate, make some new ones. Same thing like with multiplayer. Bring us some of the classics. Bring us like, you know, some new game modes. Like when the Coalition brought out Escalation, I love Escalation, guys. Love Escalation. I think it was one of my favorite game modes, new game modes that they brought out in Gears of War was Escalation back in what? Gears of War 4? Like, I loved it, dude. I loved it as a Gears of War esports mode. I think it was great. I think Execution needs to be added to the rotation if they bring Gears of War the Pro Circuit back. But like, Execution, Escalation, but innovate, keep innovating. Gears of War 3 did a great job of innovating with like Beast mode and innovating Horde mode and all that stuff. So yeah, keep it going, guys. Keep it going. I can't wait for the actual horror aspect to come back to Gears. The original 06 was the best. Can't wait for Night to fall 4 times and the experience the Krill more. Oh man, to experience the Krill more, dude. Oh. That'd be so sick, dude. Dude, I didn't even think about that. I love that idea. The Krill in 2026 with modern graphics. Like, I mean, we saw it with Gears of War Reloaded, but let's see it with Eday. That'd be so good, dude. So good. But that being said, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much to all of you for joining me for this episode of the Gearscast. Once again, guys, I want to hear in the comment section down below, I want you guys to tell me who you want me to bring onto the Gearscast. I've got a number of content creators that I want to bring onto the Gearscast so we can have real conversations about everything in the world of Gears of War and give you guys some insight into what it all means. From watch parties to just, guys, I have so many ideas. But the first announcement I made for the Gearscast is that my plan is to start bringing on other creators and streamers onto the Gearscast to get their, you know, to get feedback, to have real conversations with them. And I think it's going to be very important. I think that Gears of War content creators and streamers need to start collaborating on content. Brothers to the end. Let's build this thing. We have to act like it's building this thing from the ground up. And even though we're not, we have to have that mindset. Because as we start getting news, it's going to get crazier. Hang in there, guys. More news is coming. And I'll be sure to give you guys more information as it comes out. I love you, each and every one of you. From the bottom of my heart. You guys are the heart and soul of Gears of War. And I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me for this episode of the Gearscast. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure that you leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, just keep grinding. And as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, guys.